How's it going, Alex?
Man, really good, really good. Glad to be back with another installment.
That's right. We got book number 2, ¿Por qué prefiero ser un narco?
Bang. Check it out, check it out, check it out. So if you joined us last time, you saw book number 1, ¿Por qué prefiero ser un narco? Es mejor que un ordinario. And now we have Y su prima también.
That's right.
And that's a very appropriate title for this book for reasons that you guys will see a little later. First, I just wanted to, if you haven't already done so, please give us a like and subscribe. The link will be down at the bottom. Also, please visit the website. We have a number of reviews, including this book and other books, not only from Las Historias de la Ciudad, but from some of your favorite authors in Narcolit Reviews. We're talking about Elmer Mendoza, Juan Pablo Villalobos, just to name a few. So we're going to continue to do more of these reviews, and we invite you to return for the next installment. But today, like I said, we'll be talking about ¿Por qué prefiero ser parte 2, part 2.
That's right, Alex. And part 2 is continuation, obviously, of part 1. And here in this particular book, we see now the main character, Luis Restrepo. We see his rationale for what he's doing. We see why he's become this man. And it's all over the book. It's about survival. It's about survival in Venezuela's hostile socioeconomic environment, humanitarian crisis almost, and at this point, I think Alex he starts to feel some revenge for what's happened to him in book number 1.
Most definitely, and he starts to come of age, so to speak, in book 2.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't, he's not walking around necessarily looking for his next hit or his next opportunity to get high.
Right.
He knows exactly where that's
from. He devises a plan to become the man. He starts to get higher aspirations, and he's driven by a lot of greed.
Mm-hmm.
Wanting to have the expensive things, the cars, the women, the houses, the clothes. He starts to want all those material things that narcos usually can buy with their big money.
Yeah, and it's that. I heard something on social media about Facebook and Instagram and the like, that most of the time people are fronting. People are trying to show off for people that they don't even really like.
Yeah. And
they
have a real life and a Facebook life.
Yeah, but the people that they're trying to impress, they don't really like. And I feel like Luis Restrepo is a perfect example of that.
Perfect example.
He wants to be accepted. He wants to be invited. He wants to be, he wants to have the respect and the reputation of people that...
And the power. And he's greedy for power.
Over people, though, that he doesn't really like. It's not like, in some situations, like a politician, in the best sense, is trying to serve the people.
Exactly.
It's like, I want this power to better serve you. But Luis Restrepo has none of that on his mind.
No. And in book 2, we begin to see him establish himself. He reaches out. He's getting bigger connections to making bigger purchases. He's moving up in rank, so to speak.
Yeah.
As far as his acquisition capability of narcotics, his network, he begins to organize himself a little better because of his bigger status.
Yeah, and the book opens with a birthday for his daughter.
That's right.
And that scene, you really see. It's a classic example in terms of what people like to do for babies or young kids' birthdays, because that party will not be remembered by the child. You know,
yeah, exactly.
His daughter's.
He did it to be able to show off and to show people how well off he is right now, which is a common characteristic of all narcos. You know,
Yeah.
They all want to show off. They all want to, show people how much money they have, how much influence they can wield. You know, it's the textbook narco.
Yeah. So that's a pretty good example and a pretty good way to put it. And then at that party, the special guest.
That's right. We have a new female character. Her name is Luciana, and she seems to have been the heartthrob of Luis Restrepo for a long time. You know, he's always she's his wife's cousin, and he seems to have wanted to be with her or with his style of woman. You know, he describes her as very sexy, very attractive, in ways that he never even refers to his wife ever. So this character begins to as he begins to acquire things, he also wants to acquire a woman now that's more of his caliber,
worthy of his status.
Exactly, that's even better. Worthy of his status. So he's upgrading in a lot of things, and and he upgrades in his choice of women now, and disparages his wife, and tries to move forward with this new female character.
It wasn't until I got kind of deep into book 2 that I realized that there was mention of Luciana in book 1.
It was very brief, but it kind of set the table now to bring her in full force as the new female character in the series that's going to continue on through book 5.
Yeah. So Joaquin Matos does an excellent job of kind of introducing her without introducing her.
Exactly. And in book 2, and the way that it ends, particularly, you're gonna see how this relationship begins. So it's interesting, and I hope that I'm enticing you enough so you will read book number 2 just to get to the last page.
And Luciana is something special. It's rare that I've had the experience after reading a book that I've wanted to somehow meet.
Yeah. No, and Joaquin Matos does such a great job. He's such a detailed writer. And his skill at putting you right next to these people or describing them so well that you can imagine them is amazing. You know, this guy's an incredible writer. He puts you there. He puts you with these people. He puts you in their mind. He puts you next to them. And that's just the way these books read. You can, once you pick up number 1, you're gonna go straight through 5 because that's just the way these books are.
Yeah, most definitely. And so he's upgrading his ladies, his lady, and that also leads us to the upgrade of his kind of status. We mentioned it earlier in terms of Luis Restrepo, changing the way that he does business.
Right. Yes.
But that brings us back to Venezuela and kind of present day Venezuela.
Yeah.
And not like there's government involvement.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Alex. I mean, this series, these books are full of current day situations of Venezuela. It describes, some of the real life tragedies that are going on over there. And part of what has been said about Venezuela, is very true. because of the police and the military involvement now in a lot of the illegal trafficking activities. Basically, according to a lot of sources and these books in particular, the police and the military have taken over where the drug dealers used to end up. So, they're now representing the interests of drug trafficking, and to be able to do anything over there now, you would have to be dealing with some kind of military or paying off some police for local protection and,
Exactly.
and ability to work certain areas. Obviously, as you will see later on, you see high-ranking involvement of Venezuelan military in conducting large-scale trafficking, narcotics trafficking operations, international. So go ahead.
Yeah, it just seems once you kind of come off the street level, it's impossible to be able to do this type of business without some kind of support or the police turning a blind eye, looking the other way to what it is that you're doing.
And this is what a lot of people refer to as a narco state, where narcotics trafficking or the organizations have almost taken complete control of all government institutions, and the people that work in those institutions are faced with the difficult decision of either taking money or a bullet.
Yeah.
Because that's the way that this business is. It's called plomo o plata. And you gotta take one of the two. So the way that the narco gets military and police involvement, bribe them with money or their life. And this is an everyday thing in Venezuela right now, and it's very well illustrated in this book in particular, and in the following books as Luis gets bigger and bigger in status. He becomes associated with a lot more Venezuelan military who are in charge of allowing. They're the gatekeepers.
What would you say the biggest change in Luis is from book 1 to book 2?
I think Luis has, with money comes confidence.
Okay.
So I think here's what's happened now. Luis has made some money. He threw the party for his daughter, as an overture to all these people. Hey, I got money, I have status. So I think his confidence is growing. That's the biggest, that's the biggest factor in this book. To so boldly go after his wife's cousin, to intimidate people the way he does, even some of his close associates. He's grown in confidence. He's still a drug addict.
Yeah.
But he's one that has more confidence now, and he's like we said earlier, he's starting to establish himself. He's starting to become the man, and money has provided him the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I agree. So, the biggest difference between Luis in book 1 and compared to Luis in book 2 is basically the money in his pocket.
The money in his pocket, because money has now given him power. And it's giving him acquisition power, and to the point where he's now able to even, acquire being with a woman of greater status than his previous one.
Exactly. Yeah, power corrupts.
Yeah.
Absolute power corrupts.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Luis is an excellent example of some of the ways that money and power can corrupt people, both as individuals, and then you see with the government involvement and the police involvement in the business, you see that also on a macro level.
Exactly. So check it out. This is book 2. Book 1 was just the beginning. Book 2 now you get to see a whole new Luis Restrepo. You see him kind of growing, becoming bigger, better at what he's doing, and taking more gambles, and taking bigger risks to achieve a bigger status. So Go get it, see it on, read it online, subscribe, like Historias de la Ciudad, porque prefiero ser un narco, book 2.
Excellent, excellent. And the only thing I would add to that is that if you like Joaquin Matos and Por qué prefiero ser un narco, Las Historias de la Ciudad also has two other authors that one is from Venezuela, J.C. Solas, and the other is from Mexico, Diego Castillo. So I invite you to take a look at the website, www.lashistoriasdelaciudad.com. And thanks again for watching. We'll be back next week.
All right,
Have a
book
good
2,
one.
go get it.